Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope all is well. My name is Okodie, also known as Lavette, and I am so grateful for the Emma Manson Network for having me on once again. I always state that I am on a mission of self actualization, and I would like to bring a whole lot of people along this journey with me. And today's message that I have is lessons that learned from the trap. One may ask, why the trap? So, over the summer, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, where I would say second home with my children, and there was this craze about this trap museum that these young kids like to go visit. Two of my sons had already been, and we went again, and they wanted to go again. So I decided to go with them to see what the whole fuss and what the whole craze of the trap museum was. And I got in there, and I was pleasantly surprised. And it's amazing how the little inner child in me came out because I saw all my favorite uh, hip hop artists on the walls, and it really was exciting. So basically, the Trap Museum is a museum that captures what we call trap music. This is music that's a subgenre of hip hop that originates from the southern part of the United States, namely Atlanta, Georgia. And trap music gets its origins not from a very pretty place because it captures the disenfranchised, namely Black people who lived in the ghettos. And that's how they come up with the name trap, because, of course, it's a play on words. You think about trap, and what does trap mean? That means you're stuck and waiting to be captured, waiting to be destroyed or eliminated. So that's how the name trap came from. So the whole concept of the museum is to show how one gets out of the trap. The trap signifies, for some, a place of despair, hopelessness, because it also connotes the drug epidemic of the 80s and the 90s that a lot of us were not privy to because we didn't have to experience um, living in such conditions. Of course, we talk about drug epidemic and we talk about mass incarceration because the whole so-called war on drugs at the time was actually a ploy to capture young Black men and incarcerate them. And if we know the history of this country, I'm not going to go too much into detail about um, the racial history of America and how the tensions that it caused, but we know that the history of this country when it comes to race has not been pretty, and it's one that has caused a lot of despair, hopelessness. But at the same time, this is a message of hope, and I would hope that I can bring that across as I partook in this journey with my children, going through the Trap Museum. So what I really encountered and what I really saw in the museum were artifacts and little uh, we'll call them well, artifacts, I would say, that commemorated the humble beginnings of how this music started. For some, of course, it showed memorabilia of crack houses. It showed uh, places where people started from their grandmother's home. It showed concept of jail cell. So what they were trying to portray, or what they are trying to portray, uh, I would say the originators of this museum, which is rapper T.I. If anyone is really familiar with rap music or trap music or hip hop, I think he's very, very popular in the hip hop circles. I consider him ingenious. His real name is Clifford Harris. What he's trying to capture is the fact that you can take a state of hopelessness and be hopeful. Use that time or use that state to come up with creativity that will lead to positive outcomes. And we see now that hip hop is a $1 billion industry, and that stemmed from drug crisis, drug epidemic. It stems from mass incarceration, people not knowing what to do, but they were forced to come up with creative ways to survive, and now a $1 billion industry. So, walking that journey with my kids, I took this lesson and I thought this is a great lesson that I would like to share. It may seem like an ordinary story of going on a vacation and going into some rundown building because that's what it looks like. But what I saw in there was a message of hope, not for just our generation, for the generation to come, that nothing is impossible as far as you put your mind to it. It is a message that we need to share with others, that anything can start from a place of obscurity and become massive and become something great. It takes us sowing that seed. And that seed was sown in a place of uh, disrepute, in a place of hopelessness. But today, this is what we have. And we've seen a lot of artists born out of um, this concept of trap or the trap. And today, they have ventured into other avenues or other professions or businesses. I would like to say here that this should be a message of encouragement and one that also motivates and also drives us to excellence no matter where we find ourselves. If this does not push you, then I don't know what else will. As Bob Marley once sang, that we should free ourselves from that mental slavery. The only enemy we have, as I have learned, is you. You are in your own way. Yes, systems are not designed to keep you or to push you on. There are going to be roadblocks, there are going to be struggles that have been intentionally put there, but it's up to you to overcome those. It's up to you to take what you have and run with it. Take the bull by the horn. And this is the lesson that I have learned from visiting the Trap Museum and also the whole concept of the trap. As it is suggested, let's all get out of the trap. Having said that, I would like to say thank you for having me share my message with you. I hope this comes to encourage, like I said, motivate, and also to get you jump started in your journey of creativity. Thank you very much, and I would like to wish you all a very good weekend. Have a very good evening, and I sign off here. Have a great day. Bye bye.